This is the Giraffes Don't Eat Steak podcast, a show that brings you marketing stories, tips, hints, and much more. A treat for those who want to succeed in business or marketers who just want to learn. Hello, Alex.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you? A little bit tired today.
Well, hopefully it was worth it.
It was. I was at a really good conference yesterday.
Oh, nice. Nice. Where was the conference?
In a beautiful hotel in Burton-on-Trent, I think the place is called.
Burton-on-Water? No, Burton-on-Trent.
I took a train from Oxford. So
Okay.
I think my first time at Oxford Station, that was an interesting.
Is that which one? Because there's two.
Oh.
Is it the one called Oxford Parkway, or is it the one called just Oxford, like close to the city centre?
I was in the city centre and there was lots of building work.
Yeah. Okay. And I think it's difficult to get there. I've been doing lots of work around there.
Yeah, it was insane. I had to walk down some alleyway and then I got lost and some guy was like, no, go back and go over the bridge and go left. Like, oh. And it was like
you have that I'm completely vulnerable, helpless face sometimes.
Well, I was completely vulnerable, and you know when, because it was like 6 a.m. and my train was like 6:10 or something. You're like, where's the stupid station? I can't find it.
Yeah,
but I got there in the end.
Well done.
It was the first time. This was interesting. It's the first time I had to kick someone out of a seat.
Oh yeah? Oh, you had a reserve seat.
I had a reserve seat and there was some guy in it. It was like first time in my life. I'm like, I think that's my seat.
Excuse me. That might be my seat.
Because it's a window seat and I like a window seat. Like, no, out of my seat. But he was fine. He just said, oh, sorry. And then got up and went to sit somewhere else.
Okay.
But you can see, I mean, come on, how hard is it? Little red light means reserved seat. Don't sit in it if it says little red light.
But maybe were you late on the train? Or you were on the train?
I got there like 2 minutes before it was got to go because I got lost. But
sometimes people sit down in them when they think, oh, looking around, there's no one else coming on the train. I'm just going to sit here.
Okay. Well, I was excited. It was my first time kicking someone out of a seat. Anyway, so it was good.
Cool. You got to Burton-on-Trent. What happened in Burton-on-Trent?
I did. So this conference, I love when there's awesome stuff at conferences. The one thing that I loved about this was the goodie bags. So goodie bags are always tricky when you have events or conferences. Like, what do you give people that they don't already have? That's not going to be cheesy. They're not going to just throw in the bin, 5 seconds after they see you. And what they did here is they just had a little card which said, we're going to plant a tree on your behalf.
Okay, that's nice.
It was really nice, especially with environmental edge, just like giving back. But you had to fill in your name and your company and give it back to them if you wanted it. And also that's like, haha, who's going to be such an idiot that you're not going to say, yes, please plant a tree for me?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's very clever. I really like that because
it is clever, right? Data collection. Because no one's going to be, I'm going to be the one that's going to say, no, don't plant a tree.
No, exactly. That's nice. And so was that, is that through, I guess, a Plant a Tree Foundation company or is that through the business itself?
They said, we are working in partnership with the Sherwood Forest Trust.
That's nice.
Because I guess we were close to Sherwood Forest.
Yeah.
You don't know either. Okay.
Sherwood Forest is near Nottingham, obviously, because Nottingham, Robin Hood, the Sheriff of Nottingham, Burton is near Birmingham, no?
Yes. So I was near Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham's kind of near Nottingham. I guess some people listening to this say, this guy's an idiot. I can tell you all of the countries in the world and the maps and the flags of the countries, but my homegrown knowledge is terrible.
Well, anyway, that's what they did, which I thought was really, really nice. And because I think it's really hard to get proper goodie bag stuff, right?
Yeah.
That people will use. Have you seen any other proper goodie bag stuff?
Well, you always do a good goodie bag at conferences.
Do I? I try hard.
No, I like them. Um, I mean, no, I've had a lot of bad goodie bags.
Mm,
I would say if you ask me what is the ratio between good and bad goodie bags, I'd probably say 80-20 in favor of bad goodie bags. A lot of them are a waste of time. Uh,
mm,
now, especially if we were talking about some people are using planted tree as the goodie bag, then some of the other ones are on the complete end of the sustainability friendly. And you have this, I've had someone use this huge bag, just a huge plastic bag or whatever, and in the bottom it's just some lots of leaflets, which are not really of use to anybody, especially when you can easily whip up a QR code and
yeah.
go to a landing page or something like that with all of the details that you want to put on those million leaflets you just given me, and some useless piece of like basically like a Kinder Egg toy or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't, from memory, there's nothing. There was one I liked, and it was, can you remember with our friend Mikhail? He worked with Mention Me.
Oh,
Uh,
that was a good. I think I still
um,
have that goodie bag somewhere.
you know what, like the charging thing?
Mm,
Yeah, that's good. So like the wireless mobile phone charging, which was brilliant. I had that for a long time, and then I think it just didn't work on on a new phone, so I didn't use it. But that one was
and there was a water bottle, a metal one, if I remember, and a pink shirt. Right?
oh,
I
your favorite
definitely
one.
remember a pink T-shirt,
Because it
which
offended you, the pink
yes, it
tea.
did. I don't have that anymore.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, so some of those are good, and especially the ones that have relevance to what you're doing.
Yeah. Well,
Just
I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker for a goodie bag, right? So any pen, I love branded pens. I have a sea of branded pens. Notebooks, I love a good notebook. So, but I think I'm not the norm, right?
I was going to say, I
Most
feel like
people
you're a bit of
doesn't like a notebook.
yeah, I think in today's world, you're a bit of an outlier when it comes
I
to pens
am.
and notepads. Maybe I'm wrong. There's still a lot of stationery shops around, but I think from a working point of view, a lot of people are keeping stuff just on their laptops.
No,
There's
exactly.
lots of
And
note applications now that people are using, and some really good ones. Lots of people with iPads with the with the note taking on the iPad with the pen, which is pretty good. So I feel like the pens and notepads are a little bit of for strange people like you.
like me, like me. In fact, I was just thinking as you were talking about one of the probably the worst goodie bag I've ever seen was an A4 bag with a coaster in it.
Brilliant,
And that was all.
right? And it was just a coaster that they stole from the pub the weekend
No, no,
before.
no, no. It was a branded coaster.
Okay.
I,
But what purpose does it serve? I
I,
mean, yeah,
why was it in an A4 bag?
yeah, that sounds terrible.
Not even a little A5 bag, an A4 bag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
that,
think there's need to be a lot more thought around those, and especially just in conferences in general. I think
yeah,
there needs to be uh because it's quite an investment, conferences,
yeah,
especially for not just the event itself. It's a time investment because all of your employees or the other businesses, they're taking their time out of their day to be there, and a lot of people have got lots of work to be doing, and then obviously the train, travel, hotels, and then all the events that are happening there. It's you almost have to make every minute count, and things
yeah,
like goodie bags are part of that.
absolutely. And again, as you're talking, I think it's all about audience, right? If your audience is people like me, then pens and notebooks are a good thing to have.
Yeah.
If your audience is people like you, probably not a good thing.
No,
And
definitely not.
again, people like me, I mean, I'll find the tech interesting, but I probably won't use it. It'll I'll keep it, but that's just because I'm weird. I'm in marketing and I like keeping stuff. Some of the I'm trying to think. We went to, and was it in Prague somewhere? Um, but some of the stuff that we got was also impractical if you're going and you're traveling, and then they give you a glass bottle of wine or something,
Mm.
and you have to get back on the plane. Do you remember those? It was just like,
Yeah. No, yeah,
oh,
I
that's
think
so
so many
annoying. I got to
times.
get on the
Yeah,
plane now, right? And
yeah,
I can't take it with me because those days we only went backpack, right? We didn't
yeah.
have checked in luggage.
So at the end of all those stories, we all always ended up very drunk on the plane because we had to down the bottle of wine.
Well, that was you. I left mine in the hotel, so someone scored. And there was once, do you remember we got a big gift basket, like a
Yeah,
massive gift basket of stuff, and we
yeah.
ended up leaving it in the hotel because what are we going to
So
do
do
with
you
it?
want to pay the late Ryanair extra baggage charge penalty? No.
For a gift, right? You're not. So you also need to think about that. Is your audience traveling? And how do you make it easy for them? And even in London, right? If you're in a conference in London, do they have to hop on the train? Because that also makes a difference. You're not going to
Mm.
want to get on the train with bulky
Yeah,
stuff or additional stuff. So then smaller is better that people can stick in a pocket or that kind of stuff. So it's not excess for them to sit on an hour train ride because most people are about an hour on the train from
yeah,
London, right?
yeah. That's true.
Um, and then the alternative, if you're having dancing, think through this. If you have your event and people get their goodie bags, and then there's perhaps a meal and dancing, are people going to stand around dancing with their goodie bag in their hand? Like, do you see? You need to think through how the evening is going to flow. So then maybe only give the goodie bag as people leave. But if it's late night dancing and they're leaving at 1 in the morning, are they really thinking about a goodie bag at that
I
stage?
would absolutely leave it. I mean, I'm very good at leaving my own jacket
You
that
are.
I've had for a while and I'm attached to it, let alone a little goodie bag that I received an hour before that I'm not that interested in.
I mean, you even left your parrot costume. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did.
It was your
Luckily,
costume and you still left it behind, but they found
luckily
you.
I have millions of parrot costumes. I have a whole closet full of them.
Oh, but I remember they found you. Remember they kept fighting, like, we
Yeah,
have your parrot costume. Like, you
yeah,
couldn't get rid of it.
yeah. No, I couldn't. No. I avoided flights to Poland so that I didn't arrive there and be and thrown and a parrot costume thrown onto me every time I went.
I actually do remember that evening because it was a pirate theme, right? So you went as a parrot and we couldn't get a cab. Like, they wouldn't pick us up.
Yeah, it's like I'm not sure I feel particularly comfortable about putting a parrot and a pirate in my taxi. Honestly, though, but the parrot suit just took up so much space more than anything.
It was. And you were hot. I
Huge.
think that was the problem, right? You got so
Yeah,
hot in there.
just sweating. It's like I don't want to have this massive thing in my car with the person just absolutely bawling with sweat. No, no, no. I'm just going to drive on and pick up
Yeah,
this
we
person.
really struggled to get a cab that night. It was like, nope, not
Yeah,
taking the parrots.
it's true. And just on those as well, these were kind of like awards things.
Mm,
Uh, if you're doing like international events, you got to think about the timings of talks or particular sessions, especially if people are there and English is their second language or whatever the main language is, and people are there and that's their second language. I mean, for those events that we were talking about when we were around in our countries, it wasn't really about us
yeah,
necessarily. So that was fine. But there have been to some where on the flip side, where we have conferences that some of our employees or whatever come to in English as their second language, you need to think about, you can't really just have an hour straight of someone. I mean, that's hard for me. I
mm,
can't listen for much more than an hour anyway of someone just talking because people just start switching off. So
yeah,
it's really important to understand who's coming and what are the vital pieces of information that you want to provide to those people, and keep it succinct, right, rather than waffling on.
And break up, right? You don't want someone to sit there for 4 hours listening and swapping speaker by speaker. Have schedule your breaks or have a more interactive session. It was a really nice interactive session yesterday on I suppose it's kind of like your personality types, but it was more interesting. Like they put out these colored cards on a table with words on, and you had to choose a few that sounded like you, like adaptable, creative, and you just had to choose it. And then based on the colors of the words, they then said, "Oh, you're like this." It was actually quite accurate. I don't like people. I'm analytical. I want full detail before I make decisions. Like, yeah, okay, that's me. And the opposite is so I was a blue color and the opposite was a yellow, like vocal. But what was interesting is, so my colleague is a yellow, and yellow is like talking on the phone or face to face or whatever. And she phones me a lot. It annoys me because I don't. I would just text me, please. Don't phone me. I'm not going to answer. Even my kids know. Don't phone mom. Send her a WhatsApp message, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh, now we understand why we're not gelling. 'Cause you're trying to phone me and I want a WhatsApp message.
that's nice. That's interesting.
But
And
that was interesting, right?
yeah,
It was just like a short little burst in between the content, but
yeah,
everyone got up, everyone was moving, everyone was like sharing with the person next to them. Oh, what are you? What's going on? Right? It's really nice.
very important, because that also makes you remember things a lot more if
Yeah.
you're being engaged and you're getting up, getting the blood flowing, and those little pieces of activity help you connect to the other talks. It's like I don't know if maybe that's the way my brain works, but if I'm doing an activity, it doesn't necessarily need to be exactly related to the talk, but I'm remembering that part of my life and I can connect the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so they are very important pieces. I remember we went to that law conference once. Can you
Oh,
remember?
yep.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness. That was so dull.
Yeah, they were just rambling on and on and on, and then giving examples of various different um complaints
Times. Yeah.
was, yeah,
Complaints. It was complaints.
and like in the beginning you think, oh, that's quite interesting, you can they show me like one or two interesting complaints, but it went on and on and on for like thousands of complaints. I was like, where do I put my complaint about this conference, because right now you're killing me.
Yeah. That that was that was long. I think at one stage we were asking ourselves why we were there. Like, are we supposed to be here?
Yeah,
Were we invited by accident?
yeah, no, exactly. I think we were, at least I hope we were. Because that was difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, well, back to goodie bags. I don't know what else. I know people like doing brochures, but I have to ask, does anyone read them? I don't, and I love a goodie bag. I don't read the brochure when I get home.
Mm-hmm. No, me neither. Me neither. I think the best thing you can do is really understand who you are inviting, who your attendees are, and really think about what is the common theme between all of them.
Hmm.
It could just be their location, it could be their working environment, it could be their
Need.
political position, their need, yeah,
They
whatever.
need, right? The common pain points.
Yeah, and yeah, really think about that. And there's always something that you can, I think, that almost embodies that as an item or whatever it is to include in the goodie bag. And it just takes a little bit of thought, I think, rather than what can we make that's interesting. Like I can give them a rubber, I can give them a staple, and all these things. That doesn't really, it's not really answering anything. It's just filling a bag for the sake of filling a bag.
Yeah. I mean, some of the ones I've done, but again, I have to ask the attendees whether they thought they were good or bad, right? These are this because I did it, it's like weird. But where I had like marketing conferences with my smaller teams, then I always like putting in a little bit of Lego. because I think being creative is part of marketing. And I mean, I'm sitting here now, Alex, and my desk is covered in Lego pieces because I'm busy building while I'm on a call or while I'm like building little Lego things, right? And like for me, it just keeps me active. Okay, I am probably also ADHD, so I need to do 50 things at
they
once.
also do somehow keep you focused.
It's really fun. So I've done this bit. It's a little race car. Can you see? This is the stop flag, and there's one little driver. So he's ready, waiting, but I still have to build the car. So I like that. Or a good book. I actually got a lovely gift from one of my clients. I got this in the post. And raving fans is something he talks about a lot. So he sent me this book, which is really nice. Like it's appropriate. It's something. So an appropriate book.
No, exactly.
Who Moves My Cheese is another like really popular little
Especially if you're
book.
doing a marketing conference. What is the theme of the marketing conference?
Exactly.
And there's a lot of material that says it very well, and that's just like a supplementary piece to the purpose of the conference.
And then when it's a late night conference or if we're working hard, then I like doing things like a little Red Bull, maybe an energy bar, maybe some paracetamol for the headache you're going to have, a plaster because you're going to have blisters on your feet at the end. So then like a fun themed goodie bag to say, thanks for all your hard work. We're going to work really hard tonight. This is like your patch up kit for afterwards. So I like doing things like that, which again, you can't ask me. You have to ask the people who received it whether they thought it was cool or not.
I think when I started university, we were given a goodie bag for our freshers evening, and it had paracetamol, it had an energy drink, it had a mixer drink, and then it also had condoms in it. And it's like, the point is, it was very appropriate for first week of university for people. It had all of those things. That's just, what does a university student need in their first week? Probably these things. It's very appropriate.
So you can make it fun, and I think appropriate is the right word, right? It needs to be appropriate and relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you say those are the two good words? Appropriate and relevant.
Yeah.
And the appropriate covers things like if they need to transport it, if they're going on a plane, how must they carry it? Are they going to be dancing with it hanging over their arm? That's all the appropriate stuff. And then relevant is, are they actually going to use it, or are they going to chuck it in the first bin that they see?
Yeah, and part of the theme of the event.
Yeah.
Is it something additional, a supplementary piece of information that will help them to take the learnings from that event and then move them on into their practical working life?
Awesome. I wish there was some way, maybe when we post this on LinkedIn, we can ask people to give us their ideas of what great goodie bags they've seen or what they've received that they really loved.
Yeah, I'd love to hear, actually.
Yeah, it would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I have also, but it was impractical, but I loved it, was a little palm tree. It was only like this big, but it was impractical because you had to carry it on the train. But it was really cool, right? Like we gave everyone a little tree.
Yeah.
But it was a lovely idea, but it was impractical because you had to carry a tree on the train.
Yeah. Cool.
Great.
All right. So
well, let's hope
relevant.
Let's hope people share with us any great ideas they have.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what there is. Maybe we can learn something. All right.
Chat later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
That wraps up this episode of Giraffes Don't Eat Steak. Thanks for joining us. I hope you found value in our discussion and got some new ideas to apply to your own business. Tune in next week for another round of marketing insights and inspiration. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate you listening. Catch you next time on Giraffes Don't Eat Steak.